Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from, as well as the other Patreon exclusive content, head over to patreon.com/raprankings. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast. Track 1, Swag Surf, produced by K.E. on the track. All right. I'm going to give this a flat 8.
8-, Sting Me Baby. A highlight, for sure. But that minus got added very recently, this past week.
What can I say other than, okay, because here's the thing, that Young Money stutter, we're still in the era of the prime Young Money stutter, but I'm just going to get this out of the way up top. The second those horns come in, you know, those aren't the horns, but I hear those horns. I had a spiritual, nostalgic experience. I am immediately back in late 2009, early 2010. It's my senior year. I'm thinking about Kelsey. I'm just leaving Olive Garden with my mans in his, like, what is it, like a 92 Toyota Tercel. It's like 4 p.m. in Oceanside, California. And we are playing the hell out of this mixtape for months. It's why I know these songs front to back. I'm immediately back there, and I will always go back there whenever I listen to songs from this tape.
There's like a muscle memory with a lot of this stuff where,
yes,
even though I haven't heard it in years, I heard it so much when I did hear it.
Yeah.
That I can finish like damn near all of his lines.
Right. You can just do it in your sleep. Like, I can catch the song at any point and just pick up from there. It's like, yeah, you know. And here's the thing. So I was saying I was going to wait until we got into the review. We talked about it briefly in the background, but yeah, I agree with what you were saying, because here's the thing. I immediately recognize it from this very first track. This is the only mixtape that got near the like frenetic, colorful explosion of like mind-blowing free associative stuff of like a Drought 3. Or even a Dedication 3. Now, near being the what was it? Operative word, whatever. Near is the key word there, because it's not quite the heights of the Drought 3. But this is the difference. He sounds alive still, which would be stripped from him post jail.
Yeah, that's why the Carter 4 to me sounds so bad, is because not only is the music uninspired, not only is he lyrically uninspired, but vocally you can hear he's just dead inside. Whereas here, he's not as sharp as he is on Dedication 2 or Drought 3, but the liveliness in his vocal register is almost fooling you into thinking he hasn't fallen off at all. He's happy to be here. He's having fun.
And I wouldn't even say it was a fall. It's a decline, but he's still, even in this state, out-rapping a lot of his contemporaries at that point in time.
For sure. Absolutely.
You know? So it's not the
That's
peak
not
anymore.
Why this went down for me. That's a general observation I have about pretty much the whole tape.
Mm-hmm. It's
more so recently Taylor Swift, who I like but has started to annoy me recently.
She has become a feral joy Negroni. Okay. Check raprankings.com, the glossary. Okay.
So, her doing the swag surf.
Oh,
like,
anybody doing really it, it's
just how she got into it so much.
So histrionic. Is that the word?
Yeah. It was just like a bit much for me. And like, we're too close to that happening. It was just a few months ago that I get a little bit of the ick from the concept of swag surf right now.
Well, to be fair to her, it was already ruined long before she got to it, because social media made it uncool. Because what happened is two groups, whites and blacks who weren't there originally for the swag surf wave, found out and just played it out. So yeah, I mean, I saw it. I sent you the clip, and I'm like, look at this lady.
Yeah.
she's wilding. She is living her best white woman life at this point, and there's nothing you can tell her.
It's just, it's slightly tainted to me right now.
Well,
Um,
swag surfing, yes. I mean, I will never have use for that again. But
just no, hearing the beat in general for me right now just gives me like flashbacks
oh, fair.
to all of that. So, you know, we're not too far away from that at the moment that I'm not still thinking about it in relation to this.
Mm-hmm.
So this was probably like a flat 8, maybe even an 8+ back in the day. I'm on an 8- with this now. You know, I've tempered a little bit, but it's still something I really like. I still think it's one of the, you know, overall highlights from the mixtape. Not my favorite song, but, you know, one of the gems that stands above some of the other ones. You know,
It is
and
a
a lot of
highlight.
that is that, you know, fun that it sounds like he's having on here, for me at least.
Yeah. You know what I would say to anybody who wasn't there? He was no longer at his peak, but he was still in his prime. I'll put it that way. The peak had passed, you know, but he's still, you know, in his prime at that point. The prime wouldn't end until he got out of jail. But you know, this is a standout for a lot of other people. And I didn't know how much of a standout it was until a couple years after the tape's release. Because I was in college, my roommate Steve, we went out somewhere, like the whole apartment, and he got back in his car, and he played this song. And I'm like, oh, no ceilings. But like I found out that this was like a cult classic from the tape. And I always liked it. But you know, I chalk it up to, as we discussed on the show before, it's like track 1 syndrome, you know, or sometimes I say like the first 3 track syndrome, where it's like people often listen to the first song and not much else, or just the first few, and then they just, hey, that works for them. So they just play like those first 3, and then they're like, yeah, it's a classic, without really hearing it. But I don't blame people for thinking this is like a great song, because it is. I think it's a great opener, you know?
Yeah, he goes in just for the whole entirety of the record. Like, there's no chorus on here. He just raps.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the more memorable bars from him on this tape are on here.
For sure.
The sequence right here, take the brain off the whip.
Now it don't make
no sense. Stunt hard on these bitches. I ain't promised tomorrow. Now women kicking it with me like no more Garcia Para. Fuck. Roll them killer plants. The little shop. The way he pronounces it. Yeah. The way he breaks that word down, like little.
Yeah, the little shop of horror. That's right.
So
right.
It's
That's
syllabically, you know, aligned with everything else. So I just love saying no more Garcia Para in a rap and then rhyming it with Little Shop of Horrors. Like, that feels like Drought 3 Wayne. A line like that would have been, you know, completely acceptable on Drought 3. There's no indication of a fall off on a line like that at all.
I mean, associating like we wrote him killer plants, like, you know, but weed. Have you ever seen the Little Shop of Horrors, folks? Like, that reminds me of the Drought 3 too, because like, you know, it was, and when I was 5, my favorite movie was The Gremlins. Ain't got shit to do with this, but I just thought that I should mention. You know, like 80s movie way.
A little intervention.
But if birds don't fly without my permission. See, now that's for later. We're gonna get to Drought 3 one day, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that could have easily fit on there. It's like, that's a great line.
There are lines that wouldn't have fit
for
on
sure
there too on this tape. So like,
for sure,
that's like the interesting thing about this project. I think all the signs of what you're gonna get on Carter 4 are here. They're just delivered more exuberantly. Mm-hmm. Whereas on Carter 4, other than 6 foot, 7 foot, that exuberance is kind of missing from his voice. And you get also, I feel like, almost an equal amount of Lil Wayne from dedication to Squad 4, Drought 3 levels of like, holy shit, this guy's a fucking genius. He hadn't lost the sauce completely.
He, at this point, was still, how would I say, still like, he felt he was still tapped into the source, so to speak. He was still like one with the pattern, if you will. Like the way Thug felt in 2015, like this guy is getting these lines from like a higher power. Like it feels like, like, oh my God, he's just a vessel.
We get that Mrs. Officer callback.
Mm-hmm. The free associations are still at their, it's like, he's just like pulling things from anywhere and everywhere and making it work. You know?
Leave the pussy Microsoft, like Windows Vista. Like, you know, there's just some of the lines where he's pulling the punchline, it feels like almost out of thin air. That
Well,
we
see, that
marveled at
line
on, like, Dedication 2, for example.
hmm I mean, the Microsoft Windows Vista line was always a stretch for me. That feels very Carter 4, but he delivers it with such conviction that you let lines like that slide
That's
still.
precisely why, at the time, it still felt like he could do no wrong.
Right.
That,
Like watch,
it didn't feel like any kind of decline was imminent at all.
yeah. I mean, watch me shoot to the bank. I'm a money pistol. Is not really. It's kind of nonsensical. It's not a great line, but he delivers it sandwiched between great lines throughout the song.
That feels like it could be on Carter 4, but definitely not Drought 3.
Exactly. But he sounds like he's snapping when he says it. But it's this thing though where you have to realize like some of these lines are so brilliant. Like there's no way he could say these things without thinking. It's not just divine intervention. He's getting this stuff from God. It's like they're too well crafted. I have proof coming up later in the form of archival audio that he really poured over this stuff and was very surgical and meticulous. But you know that he's thinking about this stuff. But this is the era where it's coming out so potently and so frequently, like breathlessly, how great these lines are that, yeah, you feel like the Holy Spirit of rap has taken over his body. He's in the zone still. Eventually, after jail, he's going to leave the zone and start to force it.
Sit down at the time and like really break everything down like this, maybe we would have seen like, yeah, this is like maybe a step or two off from where he was at on like a Drought 3.
Right.
But, still like above average. But at the time, it just didn't feel that way at all. It just felt like he just keeps shooting threes, man. Like he can't fucking miss.
It's the lines, but I mean, the punchlines blew everybody's minds at the time, but it's the delivery too. It can't be discounted. Like we talk about, he sounds alive still. It's just like what's the matter? Check your bladder. I'm the shit. Piss nigga. Shoot the witness nigga. Hold court in the streets and convict this nigga. Oh, dickless nigga. That lot, like that's one of those lines. There's a lot throughout the night, but that always stuck. He would say
you
things
don't
with
get
such
that
emphasis.
kind of energy on Carter 4.
Right. Like
you
I
do
used
get
to
lines like still long hair, don't care like a Navajo on Carter 4, but not delivered with like any sort of excitement. It's not like he's popping himself like he is on here.
Right. And he is popping himself because like there's footage out here of him recording some of these songs in the studio. He's like smiling, laughing along with his own lines. Like you can see how much he enjoys this process, And it's like there are moments throughout this tape where I used to love when we would play this tape in the car. Certain moments you just love to rap along to, like, oh, dickless nigga. I would say at the top of my lungs because he would say it with so much emphasis. And what was funny is like my mans who I would ride around with, he didn't know hip hop like that. And I almost had to let him know that like this is not usual. Like what you're hearing is cream of the crop. Like don't think it's all like this. Like because this was like his first experience of like a mixtape. So I had to like tell him like, this is great, but don't be confused. Like this is a guy operating like an alien. All right. Like he got spoiled hearing this tape, but it's just, there's so much like if it costs to be the boss, oh, well, I guess I gotta pay it. Just like this turns of phrase and just come on, this guy, Lil Wayne. I mean, y'all have heard our dedication to Carter. Y'all know we love this guy. It's one of these tapes you gotta be careful. You can't just quote the whole thing because it's easy to, because I know these songs.
Yes.
Okay, the world's in my hand and I keep my hands closed. Okay.
That's a Carter 4 line. I'm sorry. He would have never said that on Drought 3.
That is kind of Carter 4-ish, but I think I just like the
But the way he would have delivered it on Carter 4 would have been, the world's in my hand.
I keep my hands
closed.
Right, exactly.
And somehow work a life's a bitch bar into that as well.
Right, yeah. It's just, and here's the thing too, is like this is a time marker too. It's like when you hear like the Takara Obama references, it's like, yeah, this is late 2000s, You
Dude,
hear
this
Obama
project
rap.
is such a turning point project.
Yes.
It's just got so much of what makes him great from everything that came before, but it really does signal towards all the shit that's going to be bad that comes after.
Yeah.
And the lilt in his voice is the difference in me noticing it at the time.
Exactly. Like it's just like the way he delivers, like, bitch, I ball hard, breaking all our backboards, pretty boy Floyd, step up, I will crack yours. It's so
he cares.
animated.
That's what it comes down to.
He cares.
Like, he sounds still totally locked in, and to the untrained ear, this man has not lost a step.
Right. I mean, when he says walk around like I'm 30 feet tall, you believe him. And he's why wouldn't you? This is something he's rapping like a person who thinks they're 30 feet tall would rap. One of my favorite moments in the song is when you reference it like that nigga take your Mrs. Officer and set some new laws. And then he kind of like takes a breath and you hear him and he comes back like, my flow is like rubbing two logs. And I like that breath because it's almost like this live acknowledgement of him being like almost lyrically winded because he's been running laps on niggas and he has to catch us like an athlete.
Selling, bro.
He's selling like a wrestler. Yes, he's selling. It's basically him communicating like, yo, I'm going crazy right now. Like I gotta take a breath. It's like he's just scored 5 straight times down the floor shooting threes. Now he's jogging back up.
I love those natural moments.
Right.
On songs. I love that moment on like the last Tribe album where Busta's killing it so hard, but he like gets his lyrics kind of mixed up and he's like, wait. Well, I was killing it. Right. So then he has to like pause for a second, then jumps back in and he keeps going. And it's just like, yo, I don't know if that's planned or like if that's like telegraphed and that's like, you have a note for it. It's like where you're going to take a breath, but like, I just think it's amazing. I love when we get those human moments in an age where we're hearing about generative AI for music and stuff like that. That's something I don't think we'll ever be able to replicate it, even if like a perfect vocal performance is eventually.
Right. Okay,
it's those imperfections that will stand out and be more special, actually.
Right. There's no way you can replicate that. And it's like, even if you like orchestrate moments like that, I'm almost fine with it because I know as a rapper, it's true. When you really feel that spirit and you're loving what you're rapping, like you had us, I was like, yo, no, like I'm snapping right now. Like that's one of the best feelings.
I had a verse where I was really killing it. And I had a line in the song that would cause a break.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so it was something like, I said something free the Gen 6. And then George comes in and he's like, the Gen 6 have been free for like a couple years now, right? Like, yeah, of course. And then I jump right back in. I'm like, I'm high as the Everest. And my head spin around like the Exorcist, something like that,
Oh, man.
But it's those moments that are exhilarating to me as a listener that I, when I was making music, regularly would try to replicate moments like that excited me.
Right. That's a real thing. If y'all don't rap out there listening, it's when you hear moments like that, sometimes it's like a, fake, it's studio stuff. It's like a play, it's a drama, but that is a real thing that does happen organically too. And it's great.
And Wayne would definitely push me to rap like in this era.
Yeah, this is the era where I would hear his tapes and have to immediately write. Like,
yeah, then it would be like, okay, I need to start rapping on some beats right now.
Every time.
What am I doing?
Right.
This is that era for me, especially because I was really starting to get into like, you know what? I'm gonna actually start like writing real songs instead of just like raps. Just like raps that I perform with no beat.
Lil Wayne is the reason why I was writing raps to perform without a beat. Because this was the peak of all music to me. Like mixtape songs where you're just rapping for 64 bars without a hook. I had to learn songcraft because Wayne had me all messed up in the head. But yeah, this is an extension of that. This is mixtape Wheezy. And he has that little stretch here where it's like the Money Pistol and the Windows Vista, but he brought it home with that.
I like the Windows Vista.
You like that?
Just because, like, who the fuck's thinking about Windows Vista when they're writing a rap, Who's thinking about it, period?
Yeah, right, period. I mean, shout out, not to turn this into Windows OS rankings, but I know about that Vista because I was using it in high school. Um, it was cool. Better than 11. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, get 11 out of here. Hate 11. 10 might be the
Motherfucker,
best
I
Windows.
was an XP guy. Windows
XP was
XP.
cool, but I'm traumatized because what I associate with XP is viruses.
Okay. So
You
you're
know,
an idiot. Got
viruses
it.
and like corruption of important files and just vulnerabilities.
You just got to learn how to use a computer, and you'll be all right. I swear.
By the time XP it phased out was getting phased out is when I finally learned to stop downloading anything I saw, you know. So
Oh,
to
you can
me,
download, but you just got to know where to go and how to go about doing it.
Windows 7 and Windows 10 were my favorite ones.
I'm like Windows 7.
Was it? And to these niggas, I'm like Windows 7. You let them tell it, they swear that they invented you. Which, folks, I mean, we've already done, well, we haven't done Thank Me Later, but there was a commercial where like people were like, I helped invent Windows 7. It's like that was the marketing campaign. And like that's a line where washed Jay would say something that wouldn't hold up, you know, in the test of time. Cause like unless you were there for those commercials, you wouldn't know what he's talking about. But anyway, yeah, he ends strong here. Young Tunchi popped that coochie for a goon or coochie. Bullets and you boys memory. Now you act like you don't know. That was one of my favorite lines. And my final note as far as lines, he even sneaks some emotion in this song where he's really just barring out. Lost some real niggas I knew from a long time ago, but heaven or hell, I'm hoping that they be where I'ma go. Always felt that line, you know. So flat 8, like it a lot, always have. Swag Surf, all right. And yes, this is better than the original song, Swag Surf.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I don't dislike that song, but that has even more stink on it than this does as a result of that Feral Joy Negroni behavior that we observed. Dude, yeah. I was watching a Bar Rescue episode last night, and hold on. What am I doing?
I don't know.
I have it, right? Don't I have it?
Do you?
Oh, did I delete it? No, don't say I deleted it. I'll re-download it. Okay, I'm re-downloading it. There's like so much like Negroni talk in this at one point. It's like they teach the people how to make a Negroni.
Oh, okay.
Like at the bar. All right, so it's Bar Rescue, season 7, episode 13. I'm gonna pull Jesse style. I'll download it while we're talking.
Oh shit!
From Nick Illegal. It's gonna take 3 minutes.
That's his name, Nick Illegal.
Yeah. 5 minutes. All right, listen. It's all good. 941 megabytes.
Jesus
Let's
Christ.
Go.
Brother, I have 6 gigabytes left on my hard drive.
So. Oh, you'll need more than that for this Kid Cudi archive, or archival rather, coming next week.
Wait, it's more than 6 gigabytes?
Dude, it's like 15 gigabytes of archival.
Oh, you're joking, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally joking. Okay. I haven't even started to put together yet.
Okay, nice. Oh, by the way,
though, it's like 15 times the amount of the Big E archive.
Right. It's like, okay, yeah, it's joke style, right? So, I did do my first listen through of that album since 2017, 2018 for the show.
Okay.
Last night, he's fucked. He is so fucked.
Why are you telling them this? Oh, because we don't have the game anymore.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm telling them.
Okay. He's fucked?
Yeah, he's fucked.
I mean, he's very well potentially fucked with me too. Full disclosure, as of this moment, he's not fucked, but the amount of 7 minuses is staggering, so we'll see, you know?
Yeah.
I have to forgive a lot of shit to like some of these songs, and I don't know if I feel like doing that. Why did I just X out of all my ratings? All right, we're back. Do you want to move on to the next song as we wait for this Bar Rescue to finish downloading?
Sure. Okay. Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from, as well as the other Patreon exclusive content, head over to patreon.com/raprankings. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast.